Alright guys, today we will be reloading for the 22 ARC. Anyone unfamiliar with this cartridge, it is essentially a 6.5 Grendel neck down to 22 caliber. The main purpose of this cartridge is to be an alternative for 223. The main difference between the 22 ARC and the 223 is obviously the case length. The 22 ARC has a shorter case length, so it is able to fit the larger bullets such as an 80 grain berger, which has a lot more length than your typical 223 bullets such as a 53 grain VMAX. On the high end of a 223 typically is your 75 grain bullets, which as you can see are still very much shorter than your 80 grain berger size bullets. The reason that people want to push these longer high BC bullets is to reach out at further distances. You will really see benefits using these long bullets out past a few hundred yards. People are moving towards these long high BC bullets because people are starting to shoot at further distances and are enjoying long range targeting as well. This is really where these bullets shine, and in a hunting aspect, pushing these higher grain weight bullets, you can expect to be able to take larger game. For the 22 ARC, some people are using these for smaller deer such as whitetail. Probably wouldn't recommend going much over that with these style of 22 cal bullets. Although these bullets are not well suited for larger game, they work very well for smaller game such as coyotes, fox, stuff of that nature. The main reason that I got into this caliber was for a longer range coyote gun or for longer range target shooting. The nice part about these 22 cal bullets are they are significantly cheaper than your 6 or 6.5 millimeter bullets. They tend to be very accurate at distance. Now that we have a little bit of background on the 22 ARC and what it is used for, let's get into the loads for today. We're going to be loading the 80 grain berger VLD target over 31.5 grains of H4350 using the CCI 450 primer. I'm hoping that this load will be very accurate with very low SDs and ESs. And hopefully this will be a great long-range target load. And in the future, I would love to load the 62 ELD VTs for more of a varmint hunting load. But for right now, just trying to get a good target shooting load now that crops are starting to come out. The first part of the loading process is going to be loading the primers into the priming press. We're going to dump these in and shake them to orient them in the upright position. We also need to swap out the shell holder for the correct one for the 6.5 Grendel case. We are now ready to prime some cases. First, we need to set a primer into the priming press. Once we have seated the primer, we do a visual check to make sure that it is flush before moving on to the next one. Visually check every time to make sure that a primer goes in before you seat it. As you can see, you can make short work of 10 cases or so, and it doesn't take very long. before you're through them. There we go. Got 10 cases primed and ready to load. All right, the next step before these cases can be filled with powder and had a bullet seated is to chamfer the inside of the case mouth to make sure that the bullet will slide easily into the case mouth. This is a quick process. It'll only take a few seconds per case. And as you can see here, we're not taking off much material, but just removing the sharp edge off the inside of the case mouth to receive that bullet. All right, so now we are ready to start measuring our powder charges and filling our cases. So first we'll turn on the scale. We'll fill up our powder reservoir here, which is just an old tub. We will measure these out by hand because we're only charging about 10 cases, so there's no need to get out the Hornady auto charge and have to switch powders and everything. It takes a little bit more time, but it's not terrible. So there's our first charge here. So we'll grab our case and we'll slowly pour this in here so that way these large kernels will fall in and take up just the amount of space that they need. As you can see, we have a full case pretty much. And then we will continue on through these. Now we will double check to make sure that all the cases have been filled and that they look uniform. All right, so now we're ready to start seating our bullets. We'll first set our case in the press, set the bullet on top of the case mouth, and slowly seat the bullet. Now that our bullet is seated, we can now check our overall length. Our target is 2.27. We are right on 2.27. So now we can grab our next case and put on another bullet and seat that one as well. All right, guys, it's time to shoot these 10 rounds off and see how good of a group we can do. We got the target camera downrange, so we'll see what we can manage here.